Hello, good afternoon. It is your host, Emmanuel Isaiah Smith, and today's date is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. I'm in Miami, Florida, just outside the Dolphin Mall, and the time is 1:45 p.m. The title of this lecture is social engineering. And before we get into social engineering, I would like to communicate to the world something that transpired last night between my significant other and a hostile member of the janitorial staff that I suppose does cleaning duties for Miami-Dade Public Library System. Now, before I talk about this incident, which I debated on whether or not to talk about, because quite frankly, I don't too much like talking about Miami-Dade Public Library System outside of the various complaints that I've sent about this library system to Miami-Dade County government, the Miami-Dade Human Rights Commission, the Office of the Inspector General for Waste, Fraud, and Abuse, Miami-Dade County, the Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava's office, the Miami-Dade Police Department, and Miami-Dade corporate offices. The reason I filed so many complaints concerning Miami-Dade Public Library System to the above-named governmental auxiliaries is because out of that library system comes peculiar acts of hostility towards certain patrons, and this hostility oftentimes spills outside of the library into the patrons' general surroundings, which I do not find to be a coincidence at all. There are certain staff members of the Miami-Dade Public Library System that have some sort of a call and response system that they use with local thugs in an attempt to get rid of patrons that the staff can't get rid of themselves. And mind you, over the past 8 years, concerning various acts of hostility that I myself have received at this library system, at the hands of branch level staff members, the security guards that are stationed in the various Miami-Dade Public Library branches, various operation managers, all the way up to the director of Miami-Dade Public Library Systems. Miami-Dade Public Library Systems has a system of hostility that it uses against patrons. If staff members, operation managers, and other staffers in the library system cannot get rid of patrons, for example, like myself, that they do not like, then they utilize this call and response system to people outside of the library system to try and utilize acts of thuggery against the patron in order to scare them off. This is part of the reason why I teamed up with at least one sheriff deputy of the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office to patrol Olympic Park, which is right behind the Kendall Lakes branch of the Miami-Dade Public Library System, twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, and report back to this deputy the next morning if I found or saw or experienced anything suspicious. A lot of the thuggery that I experienced in the Olympic Park, which is just behind the library that I just mentioned, I encountered quite a bit of hostility, and so is my significant other. I do not believe at all that this hostility is random. It is not a coincidence, rather it is derived from certain members of the Miami-Dade Public Library system in various branches across Miami-Dade County that I and my significant other have visited over the past 8 years. The staff people at Miami-Dade Public Library system will find a reason to dislike certain patrons, particularly patrons that fit my particular demographic, and utilize a various system of in-house hostility and this call and response system with local area thugs that will continually pester the patron inside and outside the library. If it happens inside the library, the staff ignores it because they want the patron gone. If it happens outside the library, maybe or maybe not will the remedy be found. Furthermore, there are a number of members of the Miami-Dade Public Library system who I know for a fact have hacked my tablet, hacked my email communications, hacked my text messages, and that of my significant other to try and find out who I am sending these various complaints to. I'm going to say it again. I've sent them to corporate offices in the Miami-Dade Public Library system with absolutely no remedy to the problem. I've sent complaints to the Miami-Dade County Sheriff's Office with some remedy. I've sent complaints to the Board of County Commissioners of Miami-Dade County with some remedy. And I've sent complaints to the Mayor's Office with some remedy. And I personally believe that Mayor Levine Cava is a good mayor, and she's good for Miami-Dade County. And I believe that some action has been taken on her part to remedy some of these issues that I personally, and I believe other patrons, have had at the Miami-Dade Public Library system. Do I believe that the Miami-Dade Public Library system has a hand in some of the gang stalking that I have experienced over the past 3 years in particular in Kendall, Florida? Yes, and absolutely. And the reason I say that is because I found out earlier this week through observation that the Miami-Dade Public Library system has a unit of undercovers that are probably undercover law enforcers or semi-law enforcers, and a combination of the above and undercover private security people that routinely go in and out of the library looking for, quote, problem patrons like myself, particularly ones who file too many complaints, quote, and utilize a synchronous method of hostility and, yes, using local area thugs in the mix to try and get rid of the said patron. Now, I've been recording videos for a number of years now, and I've intentionally left Miami-Dade Public Library system out of my lectures simply because these are a group of people, mostly, that like to nitpick people's words and actions and find threats or perceived threats, which the staffers in Miami-Dade Public Libraries are extra sensitive to. And then they use these so-called threats to further instigate acts of hostility against the patron inside and outside of the libraries. I know for a fact that there are a number of staffers in the Miami-Dade Public Library system that nitpick through my social media pages, read my comments about gang stalking, and attempt to report to their supervisors, security people, and yes, the police, quote, threats that Emmanuel Isaiah Smith has made against them through my social media pages. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just plain dumb. Quite frankly, I've been a patron at Miami-Dade Public Library systems for about 8 years now. I go less and less and less as the days, weeks, and months go by in favor of other library systems simply because it has become obvious to me that this pandering, hostile, and false narrative building that the staffers of the Miami-Dade Public Library system, from the ground level upward, use against patrons is nothing more than pestering and political hostility. And quite frankly, I would rather focus on other components of the gang-stalking mechanism than that which I experience with the Miami-Dade Public Library system, because quite frankly, the kinds of hostility and synchronous pestering that I've experienced inside and outside